Welcome to today's presentation on KDP Keywords. It's titled The Keys to Unlocking KDP Keywords. So let's dive right in. We're going to be focused mostly on ebook and paperbacks and maybe hardcovers. So that's what we're focusing on with KDP. Anyway, this is an overview of what I'll be covering today. So we'll start off with a brief section on who am I, followed by what are keywords, importance of keywords, KDP's rules around them, where and how to find keywords, followed by selecting the right keywords for your book or genre, with some FAQs and some resources at the end. Finally, just a quick one, I will be answering any questions you have after the presentation in the chat, so feel free to drop your questions in the chat if you're joining live. If you're joining on the replay, drop your questions or comments in the comments section. I will be sure to answer each and every one of them when I can. Okay, so let's dive right into the first section. So who am I? I'm a self-published author. I write in the non-fiction and finance niche. I've also done low and no content books so far. Brief background about me. I'm from a science and engineering background. I've got a master's in aeronautical engineering, PhD in mathematics, fluid dynamics if you're interested. And I've worked in engineering for a while before I went over to the dark side of finance. Okay, so that's what I've done so far. Anyway, right now I'm just pursuing my interests, which includes self-publishing. And I've taken many courses in coaching and mentoring. I've spent lots of money on those. I've also conducted a lot of trial and error. So I'm just sharing what I've learned and some of the experiences I've had on this channel and this presentation, of course. So what are keywords? Let's dive right in. Now, to me, it will be one word or multiple words. So the distinction will be a short tail or long tail. Think of it as one or two words or a short phrase, okay? So I've got some examples here. So this word fantasy would be a short tail keyword of just one word. Business marketing would be a short tail keyword. Shifter romance would be a short tail keyword. They're just two words. An example of a long tail keyword might be investing in real estate for beginners, and that's 6 words for this phrase or keyword. Okay, so why are keywords important? Now, first and foremost, it's because that's how readers and customers discover your book. Okay, the goal is to appear on page 1 of search results because that's where most customers will navigate to. I certainly don't scroll past page 3 or 4 typically when I'm looking for any product on Amazon, and the keywords will rank in the title, subtitle, and the 7 boxes in the setup. So let me just show you that quickly. So over here, I've got here the book title. So you enter your book title and subtitle. This is where your keywords could go. You don't necessarily have to have them here, but you'll see some books do have keywords in the title and subtitle. And you definitely want to fill in as best you can the 7 back-end boxes for your keywords. This is where KDP suggests you definitely put your keywords, relevant keywords in. Okay, so returning to the slides, what we want to do in order to appear on page 1, so this is the goal, is we want to look for keywords that have high demand and preferably low or no competition. Okay, so that would be ideal, high demand and low competition. And you need to do your search specific to the target marketplace that you're looking at. So if you're targeting the USA, then you want .com. If it's Canada, then you may want to have keywords that are specific to .ca, and so on. And also, just a note that you need to make sure you're doing keyword research for the right KDP format. So you can do KDP research for ebooks only or paperback, for example. Okay. So moving on the next slide. How do we determine demand and competition? Okay, so in the previous slide I mentioned we want high demand and low competition. How do we determine that? So for me, I would look at the bestseller rank, which is just a snapshot in time as an indication of demand. Okay, so bestseller rank, BSR, is akin to, like the music chart. The lower the number, the better. So if someone says, I've got the number 1 spot of the top 40 in the charts, number 1 is the best. Okay, so that's very similar to BSR. Number 1 is the best, and the higher the number. So if you're talking in the millions, that's not very good. Okay, so the bestseller rank is a snapshot indication of demand. Next up is the number of search results, and that's fairly easy to see, but this is an indication of the level of competition. Okay, so the more products there are, the more competitive it is. All right. Let's hop on over to the marketplace of your choice. In this case, I've got Amazon.com. You can choose .ca, .uk, whatever your area is. And I'm going to try an example with business finance as the keyword. So it's a very broad niche, and let's see what happens. The first thing to notice is 70,000 results for the keyword business finance. So there's quite a lot of competition. There's potentially 70,000 plus results or products that are trying to rank for this keyword. So, it is a competitive niche. Now, the second thing we want to look for is whether there's demand. So let's have a look at some books, or one book at least, to see how you can have a scroll down here and choose a book. The book I've chosen is this one. I don't know anything about it, so we'll have a look in the next tab. So open the tab and see how this book is selling. Is there demand for this book? And we use bestseller rank as an indication, a snapshot in time of demand. So bestseller rank 18,000. So that's pretty good demand, actually. This is selling multiple books a day. You want to take that into account with the number of search results, which is highly competitive. So it's high competition, but there is also high demand. So that's how we get the bestseller rank and the number of search results for competitiveness. So moving on, one of the things you should really know is KDP's rules and guidance for keywords. So my suggestion is that you read their guidance and notes on keywords before you start doing your research. Periodically check to make sure you're within the rules that they've laid out, because they do update their rules every so often. I'll share these web pages with you shortly. And pay attention to any section that has something like keywords to avoid, or things to pay attention to, or not do, or something like that. So let's just jump on over to the couple of pages that are most relevant for keywords. So here we go. The first one is make your book more discoverable with keywords. Feel free to have a read of this. They've got some really useful information, such as best practices, up to 7 keywords or short phrases. That's the 7 back-end boxes. Useful keyword types, depending on your genre, of course. And keywords to avoid, there's always some kind of section about what not to do. They're telling you don't do these things, so please do not do these things. And make a note, the list is not exhaustive, so don't be naughty and try and skirt around the rules, okay? If you're thinking, should I or shouldn't I, just don't do it. Stay on the safe side. That would be my suggestion. And if you do something a bit more risky, that's up to you, okay? Make sure it complies with their terms and conditions. And also, they tell you other key metadata and keyword tips. Customers are more likely to skim past long titles over 60 characters. So they have the data, they know what they're talking about. Anything more than 60 characters is unlikely to be a good keyword for your title, at least. This doesn't apply to subtitles or the 7 back-end boxes. Make sure you read the KDP guidelines on metadata, and I'll show you that shortly. Okay, so there we go. This website, our webpage, I will definitely include in the links below. And let's move on to the next webpage that you should definitely read: metadata guidelines for books. Okay, so they tell you a lot about book title, what you should or what you shouldn't have, unauthorized reference, unauthorized to titles or authors, trademark terms. So if these are what they don't tolerate, essentially. So best-selling or free or punctuations and stuff like that. Definitely have a read. Subtitle, as I mentioned earlier on, your title and subtitle together must be fewer than 200 characters. Your subtitle will appear on the book detail page and adhere to the same guidelines as your title, so that's worth noting. And I just want to scroll down to the keyword section. So a keyword can be a word or a phrase. There we go. They recommend 2 to 3 words. We'll get into that a bit more in a bit more detail later on. Avoid keywords that are not accurate descriptors of your book. Okay, so they told you inaccurate keywords can lead to unexpected or confusing search results and provide a poor customer experience. We do not tolerate keywords that mislead or manipulate our customers. Okay, so these are some of the prohibited keywords that they do not like at all. Okay, so don't do anything like that. So one of the biggest things that I've seen or I've come across is that people think they can put a super popular book that may fit with their book, or even doesn't fit with their book. They're just trying to get ranked on Amazon and being seen by customers. So let's say Harry Potter, that's super popular, or it was at least. If you put Harry Potter as one of your keywords and your book is nothing to do with Harry Potter, it might be, business finance related. I mean, no one's going to be interested in reading your business finance book when they're looking for a Harry Potter book. Okay, so don't do that. That's a really bad idea. Okay, so those are a couple of things that you should really read. As I say, I'll include links below, so check those out. So next up is where and how to find keywords, and this is where you can start to use free or paid tools if you wish. You don't feel you have to. Okay, personally, I use a combination, so I always start with the Amazon search bar, and again, make sure you're looking on the marketplace that you're targeting. So typically .com for US, for example, and I use the ABC method, which I'll run through with you very, very shortly. And there's the free, these are all free methods, by the way. Search on the search bar, just look at some competition or other books and look at their titles and subtitles, and make sure you also scroll down individually to each book and see what the customers also viewed and also bought. Okay, so this is like a completely free and very efficient, very effective method. Personally, I find anyway. I still do this, to this day. So even though I've got free and other free and paid tools, I still use this method. So I'm gonna run through how I do that. We'll also go through some of the tools that are available. DS Amazon Quick View. These are Chrome extensions, except the last one. AMZ Suggestion Expander. Huge Amazon Search Suggestion Expander. KDP/Amazon BSR and Keyword Research SEO Tool. Yes, that is the full name. And this is the one I use most personally, and it's a paid tool, Publisher Rocket. And I'll run through all these just to show you what they look like at least. Now, here's the thing. There is no such thing as the best tool that guarantees ranking or guarantees anything. Okay, so you just need to, find a method that you resonate with, that you're comfortable with, and just go with that. Okay, so let's have a look at the Amazon search bar approach first. Okay, all right, let's hop on to the Amazon.com website, or whichever marketplace you're looking at. So firstly, make sure you're in incognito mode so that your personal preferences, searches or buys in the past do not affect what you are looking to do here, which is find keywords that will potentially let you rank on page 1. Okay, so my previous example was business finance. Let's just stick with that. So when you click business finance or type in business finance here, Amazon shows you a whole bunch of other potential keywords here, and I will note all these down in an Excel spreadsheet or whatever tool or software you like to use to note these things down. So I will type in business finance book, business finance organizer. I will ignore this because For Dummies is a popular name. I do not want to be associated with that, nor do I want to even remotely appear to be associated with that. So I'll give that a miss. Tracker, planner, and so on. I will note all these down, okay, in my spreadsheets. And then I will go on to type A and see what comes up and note all these down, see what's relevant, and then B, see what's relevant and note that down, and C, note these down, D, and so on. And this is basically the ABC method all the way to Z. And if there's nothing that comes up for that Z, that's fine. So go A, B, C, D, E all the way to Z and note down all the potential keywords that come up on Amazon search bar. This is completely free, and I still like to do this to this day. So that's the search bar and ABC method. But before we go, I want to show you a couple of really nifty tips, completely free again. So let's say, business finance. I'm going to type in a random one, H. Okay, so let's select how to manage business finances. Oh, this is not bad. It's only got 1,000 results compared to business finances, which has 70,000 results. So immediately we are getting into a less competitive keyword. So let's just scroll down. I ignore the sponsored products because people have paid to get there, which is fine. I'm going to open one book and just to show you an example. So I don't know anything about this book, just doing it off the fly here, but this is where I might note down other people's titles and subtitles. So this is the title, How to Manage Money When You're Not Earning Enough. That's the title, followed by Strategies for Thriving Amid Financial Difficulties. Financial should be a big F, maybe a mid as well, a big A. Anyway, note down the title and subtitle of these books on this page. Okay, so just scroll through the page and note down these titles and subtitles. All right, and before you go past those pages, you want to scroll down a bit. I ignore sponsored products. I will scroll down to see these areas. There we go. So let's just focus on this one first. Customers who view this item also viewed, and all these books potentially may fit within your niche. So I will open individually each book and again check their title and subtitle. Note those down in your Excel spreadsheet. Followed by customers who also read this book also read. I want to see which books will feature in this section as well. Again, open each of these books, scroll through if you need to, and get more titles and subtitles noted in your Excel spreadsheet. So once you have a massive spreadsheet of titles, subtitles, Amazon search bar, ABC method, you've got a lot of, you should have quite a few keywords to be able to select from. And this method is completely free. It's direct from Amazon's platform. So you can't get better data than this. Okay. Well, actually you can, but we'll get to that. It's estimated data, but this is direct from Amazon, the horse's mouth. Let's talk about some of the extensions, Chrome extensions that are completely free that you can use as part of your keyword research endeavors. So the first one I suggest is Amazon or AMZ Suggestion Expander, DS Amazon Quick View, Huge Amazon Search Suggestion Expander, KDP Amazon BSR and Keyword Research SEO Tool. These two are self-publishing Titan tools. You can head on over to their Facebook page or YouTube channel. You can check them out. So let me just show you. So I'm going to show you DS Amazon Quick View. It's already coming up. And you want the one, I believe it's this one, with the little blue fist over here. So that's the one I've got. We can go and check out the other two. AMZ Suggestion Expander. So it comes up. And there you go. This is the first one right here. Okay. You can click to add that. And you can also search for the self-publishing Titans or their tools. Self-publishing. And they've got a few tools. So these two are the tools that are completely free that you can add to your Chrome extensions if you want. Okay, and they've got a YouTube channel, like I say, and a YouTube Facebook group as well. So you can go and have a look at their tools. If you like those, feel free to use them. If not, you can always use the other two that I've used and I continue to use. All right, so those are the Chrome extension tools. I just want to show you Publisher Rocket as well, and I have it installed, so it's on my Launchpad. Let's click on Publisher Rocket, and this is what it looks like. I will leave a link, an affiliate link below, so if you do click on the link and buy, it'll give me a small kickback at no additional cost to you. So this is the tool I like to use personally. All right, with all those Chrome extensions or tools, I'm going to show you how they work. Okay, so you can see them in action. So now I'm going to show you two of them in action: AMZ Suggestion Expander and DS Amazon Quick View. So make sure you're in incognito as usual. Make sure you're in the right marketplace. Make sure the extensions are available to function in incognito mode, so that you're not getting any search bias from your personal searches or purchases. So the first example we used was business finance as the keyword. So I'm going to stick with that. So if I type in business finance, you'll see these are the ones in white over here are what you would get with just Amazon's search suggestions. These additional ones is what comes with the AMZ suggestion expander Chrome extension, okay? And then if you type in like the ABC method, A, you can see what comes up. B, you see what comes up. C, if there's anything else that comes up, and so on. Okay, so these will all be additional keywords that you can add to your Excel spreadsheet to gather even more keywords. All right, so I'm gonna show you the DS Amazon Quick View extension in practice. So I don't know if you noticed, but we see a few of these things pop up now. Okay, and that's the DS Amazon Quick View extension in action, basically. So I believe we looked at this book here, and straight away you can see, so if you hover over it, you can see the bestseller rank straight away, and if you don't, you can scroll down slightly and it's right over here. So you can scroll through the page and very quickly assess what the bestseller rank is. Okay, so within like a few seconds of scrolling on a page, you'll know what the whether, you know, on page 1 at least, whether there's a few books that are doing well or not. So like if they're in the millions, you probably want to stay away from that. That's not selling too well, but you see some with hundreds of thousands, which is not too bad. And you see some, you know, even with no rank, so it's never sold, which is okay. But you do want to see that there's some demand. So like this is in the tens of thousands, and earlier we saw this one which was in the tens of thousands. This one's in the, you know, 4 digits. So that's doing very well indeed. Anyway, that's how I would use the DS Amazon Quick View and AMZ Suggestion Expander extensions, Chrome extensions together, to give you an idea very quickly of, number 1, getting more keywords, okay, and number 2, of the BSRs, bestseller rank, to assess very, very quickly in a snapshot manner whether this page 1 has demand or not, has people selling on their books. Okay, so that's how I would use those 2 extensions. Okay, next up is the self-publishing titans. They've got a couple of Chrome extensions, as I mentioned. So we're going to look at the huge Amazon search suggestion expander, and also the KDP Amazon BSR and keyword research SEO tool. So for this one, make sure you click on it and it's on. Okay, otherwise you can turn it off. Like I say, you can have a look at their YouTube channel and Facebook group if you want more information. But let's stick to our business finance keyword and see what comes up. So this is what the huge Amazon search suggestion expander will provide you. Okay, it's got a whole bunch of keywords here, and then you can go through the same process, the ABC method, see what comes up when you type A. At the end, nothing. B, not so much. C, and so on. I'm not going to go through all the alphabet in the so yeah, you can see there's a few more. Okay, so you do need to give it some time to work. There's a lot of data that comes up. Okay, so sometimes you need to be a bit patient and see what comes up. All right, so once you can download all the suggestions. So if you click on download, it'll give you a Excel file which you can have a look at. So I just open. So this is what it looks like in Excel. Okay, and that's additional keywords that you can get from the that extension over there. Okay, so let's just click into this one. Let's say business finance, and you can see they've got this section here, which is their extension, and it's gonna crunch all the numbers on page 1, all right, and give you some information here. Let's just wait for it to load up. It takes a bit of time because it's pulling data from the first page right now. Okay, so a score of 28 is an indication, according to their algorithm, this extension. 28 is not the best. You want something that's green in color, and you can click on V3 to see a version 2 instead of version 3. We're on version 3 right now, so 28 score is a bit low. I think their suggestion is, if you hover over here, it says keyword niche score algorithm, and their suggestion is finding something with a score of 60 and above. Okay, and it shows you a total number of results, so over 70,000, which is 71,310. Average bestseller rank, so this is an average of all of page 1, is my understanding, and these are averages over all of page 1 as well. Okay, so if you want to, you can use these tools as well, completely free. Like I say, find something that you resonate with. All right, so that's the self-publishing Titans Chrome extensions tools that you can use. If you're enjoying the content so far, make sure you give it a like. If you're feeling charitable, give it a comment as well. And if you're feeling really generous, share the video. It might help someone. Okay, so last but not least is Publisher Rocket. This is my favorite paid software. So it does require a small investment, but as you'll see, it saves time and it gives me data. Now, some data is estimated and it's based on their algorithm that Publisher Rocket has. But my view is some data is better than no data. So it makes me a bit more confident with my keyword research, because then I know I'm not just picking keywords out of the air. I have some basis as to why I've picked those. So let's get into it. I just want to demonstrate, very quickly, because it could be another presentation on its own. So this is Publisher Rocket, okay, and make sure you set your marketplace. In this case, I'm going to stick with the USA, books, and we'll click on keywords, search. I've already done some of this beforehand. Business finance, and go get them Rocket, and then you can get all the keywords here. And whichever keyword that you think is relevant to your book, click on this little icon, analyze icon, okay, and then you'll see additional information come up. All right, and bear in mind we are looking for competitive score that is low competition. And ideally, we want other things like we want high monthly earnings, high estimated search, Amazon searches, high estimated earnings, preferably low competitors, that kind of thing. And you can see, like, if you hover over the question marks, it shows you how many pages of the top ranking books for those keywords are. So the top ranking books have an average of 241 pages, and so on. Number of competitors, it again explains, the number of books that are competing for this word. It just tells you more than 1,002, which is quite a high number. Okay, so you can do this for any number of keywords, and it'll give you the relevant information. So try something that I've tried a couple more, like business for beginners, business finance beginners, or something like that. Just play around with the keywords that you think may be relevant, and you can always use some of the previous methods that I spoke about. For example, my favorite is just using the Amazon search bar to see what else I might come up with, and then type it into Publisher Rocket. So that's how I do things, and I just want to show you the data that you can get. So when you click on export, you have a choice of export all or export analyze. I've already got those two here, so I'm just going to show you the analyzed. So everything that you clicked on analyze for, you get a whole bunch of keywords here, and then the data is all here, and you can click here and sort. So if you don't have Excel, use Google Sheets, for example, and they've got a filter function, and you can filter for low competitive score, for example, or green, so whatever you choose, just make sure it's something that's preferably low competition and either high Amazon search volume or high earnings or something like that. This is where you have to use your judgment. All right, and this is for the analyze keyword search. If you choose all keywords, then it'll come up with a whole lot of data, okay, and you can again sort the information to your choosing. All right, so this is why I like Publisher Rocket. Number one, it gives me data, and it's so fast. It reduces my time on finding keywords. Let me just show you Publisher Rocket's sales page. It's over here, so I'll include a link below. They've got other functions as well, but we're focused on keywords today, and some of the big names use it as well. That's always handy to know. So this here is the team. Dave Chesson, Kindlepreneur, he's the man behind the software. They've got a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you try it and it's really not your cup of tea, you know, within 30 days, just get a refund, no questions asked. Currently, it's on for $97, and never pay again. Full updates in the future. That's what I've been getting for years now. I don't know if and when it will become a monthly subscription, but they've actually said on their page that it may, you know, before it becomes a monthly subscription. So presumably they've got some plans in the future to make it monthly subscription basis, but who knows when that'll be. Anyway, so I just wanted to show you that Publisher Rocket, although has a bit of investment, is my preferred tool because it gives me data and it's fast. Going back to what I said earlier on, find the tool and method that gives you confidence in your keywords. There's no tool that will give you, you know, 100% guaranteed you will rank on the first page, on the first placements on the first page. You know, there's no tool that will do that. So it's a bit of trial and error. Find what works for you and go with that. So we're in the home stretch right now. So you should have gathered all your keywords, and now we're gonna talk about selecting keywords. Okay, you don't want to skip this section because I'm going to talk about something called magic dust. Anyway, so you should have a spreadsheet or document of keywords, and you want to remove anything that's irrelevant, or maybe do some checks whether they're trademarked or anything popular within a niche that you shouldn't really be infringing on. In my example earlier, I said Harry Potter, don't use that. It's not your book, unless it is your book. J.K. Rowling, drop me an email. Barring that, you know, remove anything irrelevant. Narrow down your keywords according to your criteria. So one of your criteria might be you need to have a sufficient demand. So BSRs should be relatively low. You can set your criteria for that. 100,000, 500,000, a million, whatever it is. Or perhaps you take a view on you want low competition, in which case you're looking at search results. Maybe you're using the Chrome extension, you want something in the green by self-publishing titans, or you're using Publisher Rocket where you can look at the number or the color code, and you want something of low competition. So it's subjective, and you'll have to test it out. All right. Now, once you've narrowed down the keywords, you need to select out of those the best keywords that you're happy to use. And you know that, like I say, is subjective, and it will depend on what data you have. So in my case, I use the data that Publisher Rocket provides me. So that's my criteria. I'll have a look at that. This is my process. I will select 2 to 4 keyword boxes to use as is. So I won't change them at all. And it will be a combination of low, medium, and high competition keywords. So the idea is that if I start ranking for low competition keywords, maybe I'll get lucky and I can start ranking for the higher, so medium to high competition keywords as I make more sales and get more downloads or whatever it is. All right. And this is where, you know, out of these 7 keyword boxes, you got 2 to 4. The remaining boxes, I apply what I call magic dust, which it's basically just combining the remaining keywords to form longer tail keywords. Okay, and it's a mixture of keywords so that you don't waste the remaining boxes for starters. And if there's any space in those boxes, remember you got 50 characters per box, you can use up the remaining space. Okay, so that's my approach, and I'm going to show you what I recently did with one of my publications. Now, it's using a version of Publisher Rocket's data that's a bit old, so we don't have some information. For example, like Google searches, we don't have that anymore. They've updated the software. Well, that's okay. What I want to share with you here is these are my keywords here. Okay, all these things here. These are my keywords, and I've chosen these because these are the top ones that I want to rank for. And if you don't have Publisher Rocket, just ignore all of these and go straight into these columns. what I've done is I've taken what I call a root keyword. So in this case, the root keyword might be generation or generational wealth. In this box, the root keyword would be real estate, followed by some combination of the other keywords. In this case, I've chosen generational wealth, investing 101, and game. And you can see over here, I have not changed this at all. I've used exactly the same keyword here. Rental property, generational wealth, no change at all. Similarly here, wealth building 101. So I've used some of these as is, and then some of the other ones I've added a keyword here or a keyword there, and this is how I filled in my 7 keyword boxes. All right, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but you can take a screenshot if you like, or you can pause the video and have a look. And notes as well, I did a quick trademark search for quick start guide, and that's actually a trademark name, so I decided not to use it. Anyway, that's how I do my keywords. I find a root keyword, I get all the keywords I need, I select the best ones, and then from here I will kind of combine keywords between these to fill in my 7 keyword boxes. And 1 or 2 keyword boxes in this case will be used exactly as it is. All right. Okay, so let's finish off with some FAQs and resources that I would like to share before we end this presentation. So the first FAQ I hear is, should you use quotation marks? And my answer generally is no. Number 2, will I rank higher if I repeat keywords? So usually no. Okay, there's no point repeating keywords. So you're repeating the same keyword like investing in every single box is not gonna put you higher for that keyword in Amazon's eyes. Okay, you're just wasting precious real estate space in the keyword boxes. So I would suggest you use something different. Number 3, how often should I update my keywords? And it depends. Okay, I would say not too often, because the algorithm needs time to understand what your book is about and whether the keywords match up with your book. But saying that, if you don't have any sales, so after you give it some time, if you don't have any sales, or you can't find your book after like page 5 or whatever it is on the search results, then yeah, there's no harm in after a few weeks, like 6+ weeks, to change it up. You have nothing to lose anyway. Okay, but maybe leave it for 1-2 months, maybe even 3 months, and see how it goes. Number 4, does the alphabet soup for keywords work? So I've tested this myself. I have had mixed results at best, but mostly I've just had minimal results, if any at all. Basically, the alphabet soup is where you have random words in all boxes, and it doesn't really make sense. It's nothing a customer would ever type in. So for me, it didn't really work. Okay. Some resources I want to share with you. Number 1 is Kindlepreneur's Keyword Experiment. You have to read this, mandatory reading, because he does go through an experiment and he presents his results, where he tested keywords with other people as well, other people's input. So you have to read that. KDP's website has lots of information, the keywords and metadata, of course, but there's also so much more information you can find out from there. There's a Reedsy blog that's a little dated, but it's still quite relevant, so that's pretty good reading. And finally, so much information on YouTube and Facebook groups and social media. You do need to be a bit discerning as to who you listen to and who you get advice from, but my suggestion is learn from everyone, experiment and find out what works for you. Make sure though that you are adhering to the rules at all times. All right, don't put your account at risk. Okay, so with that, let's move into the Q&A. If you've got any questions, drop them in the chat. I will answer them. And if you're listening on the replay, drop them in the comments section. Any comments or questions that you would like to make, feel free to drop them in the comments. I will get back to you when I see them. Thank you for attending this presentation. Thank you for listening to me ramble on for so long. Yeah, I will catch you in the chat or the comment section.